Thank you for staying with us. Like battle-tested combatants and members of the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, never run away from fights. The brewing crisis between the union and the federal government is another example of such battles. Lecturers at the University of Lagos, UNILAG, protested against what they described as casualization of academics in the country through payment of half salary by the present administration. The ASU members were joined by other labor unions, activists in the university, a civil society organization, the Education Rights Campaign, and some students who expressed regret that the federal government does not value education and the future of Nigerian students. Let's share the story by TVC News Ademola Lawrence with you.
The response of the government towards the ASU's demonstration of trust was the so-called pro rata payment for 18 days as the October 2022 salaries of academics, thereby portraying them as daily paid workers. This action, the union believe, is not only an aberration but a contravention of all known rules of engagement in any contract of employment.
To say you are not paying us as casual worker is not only ridiculous, it's evil, it's satanic. Yes. And we must condemn this government for that. We have called off the strike like we have been told, based on understanding, based on love of our students. And we must equally say, 50% of our members are equally students doing their postgraduates. We don't have money to send our own children to abroad, so our own children come to the same university. And we are not fools, neither are we foolish. Yes. We are wise. Because if we are doing something every time and you not pay us our salary and we keep on doing it, it only shows that's the only way. Because government knows no other language except strike.
The ASU chairman, UNILAG chapter, Dele Asheru, says the decision is based on the government's legitimate interest in preventing moral hazard and discouraging disruptive industrial actions.
The October salaries of our members were paid. We discovered that they were prorated. And we thought that this is a novel action in the annals of industrial relations, not only in Nigeria but all over the world, particularly the attempt at casualization of intellectuals in Nigeria. Before another crisis erupts in the Nigerian university system, we are drawing the attention of Nigerians to this very insensitive act by government, and that is the reason.
ASU had called its 8-month strike in October after the National Industrial Court ordered the lecturers to resume. Ademola Lawrence, TVC News, Lagos.
ASU UNILAG chapter, Emeka, they are saying that government has turned them to casual workers,
which is very unfortunate. The continuing devaluation of education by successive administrations, which has got worse under this administration. I mean, it has reached its worst level under this administration. It's very unfortunate because the way they approached issues, Nigerians came out to make appeals to government and to let government know that you cannot say that members of ASU strike, who were on strike at the time, were not really working. The only thing they weren't doing was teaching. One university produced a vice chancellor. Who were those that sat to approve his appointment? Then there were those who were on sabbatical on different assignments, and you are now coming out to say that they didn't work. I mean, government should actually make up its mind about what it wants. Some people have said that ASU should move away from its holistic view of issues in the tertiary university system to a welfare-based agitation, like some other unions, just agitate for your salaries, allowances, and all that. If the government doesn't want to fund education, that's its business. So that you don't have to bother about revitalization of revitalization fund. You don't have to bother about achieving third fund. You don't have to bother about whether the universities are painted black or white, but just focus on your welfare. Now, where does that leave the Nigerian, the tertiary education. It will leave it in tatters. One of the things ASUU went on strike for was the proliferation of universities by state university, by state government. You just have universities all over the place. Go to their sites, poorly funded, nothing to write home about. Some of the issues ASUU raised, you implemented them just like TED Fund, but you turn around and accuse ASUU of bad faith. All of these things will just continue to push tertiary education in Nigeria closer and down the abyss. We may have so many private universities, but what's the quality like? If public universities cannot guarantee regular sessions, then where are we going to? Now you have got to the ridiculous extent of making lecturers look like daily paid laborers. I think those behind this should really have a rethink, because you see, it's easy to just take whimsical actions while you're in government, but years down the line, when you're out of government, the wrong things you did will come back to haunt you one way or the other.
Look, you are saying that this is in line with the law, that government have not done anything violating the law.
Yeah, that's true. In fact, International Labour Organization also, that is the position. But when you seek, I remember we discussed this some time ago on this program. We were saying, is the president intervening at all? Is he getting involved? What we are trying to say is that this impasse, we need to have a political solution, which was found, spearheaded by the Speaker of the House of Rep. And everybody thought it was all over. And then suddenly you spring a surprise. This is administration by ambush. You didn't discuss that look, when you resume, we are paying you half of your salary. Then they resumed, you pushed them ahead. They resumed. I've seen the timetable. I've seen their plans and the exams that they missed. They are going to be running it alongside with the current school year, which means the job was concentrated for a certain period of time because of the industrial action. But essentially, this is in bad faith, and it is very, very wrong. It's not. It will be difficult for people like us to trust this government, and it will certainly be difficult for the people, members of ASUU, to trust this government in future. Once they will now have to say, can we please put this one into writing before we embark? And then if you refuse, then it will be a prolonged. I would encourage ASUU, next time when they talk to them, you say, let's put this down to writing. And I need to commend ASUU. We won't go on strike. Let our campus chapters go and discuss and advise us. In the meantime, we'll hold rallies only on campus. I was unfortunate, I ran into it. I was supposed to be on the radio program yesterday in Unilag. I missed about 10 minutes because...
Unilag FM?
Yeah, I had to, take some Appian way to get to the... Still, I was 10 minutes late. See how their problem has affected my own business.
All right.